What's up to my friends on YouTube, and welcome to the Anabolic Outpost. Today, in the Anabolic kitchen, we will be cooking shrimp toast. If you're unfamiliar with shrimp toast, it's a popular Asian dim sum dish, but the majority of the time, it's often just served by taking shrimp, breading it, and deep frying it. Not to say that some restaurants don't bake it and use actual toast, and that's exactly what I'm going to do today, is take 2 mini toast slices with a delicious shrimp filling on the inside. In my opinion, seafood is extremely underrated if you're trying to keep your calorie count low and or your protein count high. It doesn't go for all seafood, of course, but generally it's an incredibly lean source of protein, and shrimp is no exception, with only 1 gram of fat for 20 grams of protein in a 100 calorie serving. I often see people resorting to chicken or a lean ground beef for their protein, and it's rarely talked about how beneficial seafood could be if you're trying to stay lean. And best of all, it follows the trend on this channel of being simple to make. So let me get into the short list of ingredients that you will need to make this. The first ingredient is raw shrimp. I've got mine thawing out right now. Next up is whole wheat bread slices. No shame in using white bread or whatever bread you like. Cornstarch, soy sauce, canola oil, Old Bay seasoning. Yes, I know it's not authentic, but if you know, you know. And you'll also season it with pepper. I'm not sure why I got the salt in the frame. Before I get to the cooking part of this video, you could go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. The first step in the process to making these is to take your bread slices and line them up, and what we're going to do is slice them into even smaller bread slices. You could go ahead and cut these into 4s, and if you're following the recipe serving size, you'll be left with 12 mini slices of bread. This will make 6 individual pieces of shrimp toast, which is likely not a meal for some, but I see this as more of an appetizer anyway. Once you're through with that, you could swap out the bread for your raw shrimp, and in order to make the filling for these cakes, you're going to want to mince the shrimp into tiny pieces. Best technique I've found here is to just get a bigger size knife and just use 2 hands with it like so, and just go across the layers of shrimp, going back and forth and essentially just mutilating these shrimp. And for this recipe, I am using 6 ounces of shrimp. Once you have your shrimps minced, you could go ahead and create the marinade for them, which is pretty simple as you already know from seeing that ingredients list, starting off by putting in the soy sauce at a total of 32 grams. Next up is a splash of the canola oil at only 8 grams. Next up to go in is the cornstarch, and once again, not very much at only 5 grams. And then to season it is 2 grams of Old Bay seasoning, and a good pinch of pepper. That's all there is to it. It's the marinade, so just give it a quick mix with the fork and it'll be ready for the shrimp. And there's the minced shrimp. Now I'm just going to go ahead and slide it into the marinade. And you can just give it a quick mix here to ensure that the shrimp is evenly coated in the marinade. And ideally, you would marinate this overnight for maximum flavor, but rarely does anybody have time for this, and this is supposed to be a quick meal in a pinch anyway, so just marinating it for half an hour to an hour does the trick and really makes the difference. Even directly transferring it after you mix it, I'm sure it would still be tasty as well. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and set up my mini toast slices. And what I'm going to do here is just press them down a little bit to give it a bit more surface area for the shrimp. You could obviously just take out more toast, but I'm trying to keep this as low calorie as possible. Even myself, I only let the shrimps marinate for about a half hour. So don't stress if you're unable to do it overnight. But it's now ready to transfer on, and I'm personally just using my bare hands myself, but you could be normal and use a spoon if you please. And of course, like anything with cooking, I'm just putting on a little bit at a time, and I could have an even amount per shrimp toast. And I've gotten the shrimp mixture evenly distributed onto each of the toast slices, and I'm then going to begin to close these. And if you do have any room to try to close these on the edges so you get that breading all the way around, feel free to do so. I'm trying to do it with mine. But as you can see, they're not really the biggest bread slices, so they kind of hang over, and that's alright. And before they go into, I like to just give them a quick spray for maximum crispiness. And you could go ahead and do just that and throw them in the oven, and you're going to let them cook for 15 to 20 minutes. This is what they look like coming out of the oven. I went mine for the full 20 minutes. You can see them start to crisp up on the outside, and although I just made this same week for myself, I'm starting to crave these just by making this video. And I let them cool for a minute before transferring them to a plate and making this beautiful presentation. If you're wondering what sauce is in the middle, it is the G. Hughes Thai chili sauce. I like that sauce a lot, and the G. Hughes brand in general. And I actually usually use it when I'm baking my salmon, so I figured shrimp, kind of the same thing, and it would work as well. Also, Thailand's in Asia, so there you go, I guess. But I'm sure there's a variety of different sauces that would go good with these, so experiment yourself and see what you come up with. And while I'm here, I guess I could go ahead and give you the macros for this recipe. For the entire thing, all 6 shrimp toasts, it's going to come out at 55 grams of protein, 46 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat, for a total of 515 calories. Looking at the macros, of course you're thinking 515 calories, that's definitely an appetizer, and like I said earlier, you wouldn't be able to make a meal out of this, but coming in at a whopping 55 grams of protein, that is more than enough protein for one meal. And I'm going to continue to preach how underrated I think seafood is, because it has so much protein that's packed into it. So get in the kitchen and bake this up, and if you do decide to make this, take a picture and tag me on Instagram, and I will be sure to repost it in my story. That's all for today's video though. If you did have any questions or were confused at any part of this video, comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible and help you out there. Other than that, if you found this recipe tutorial both helpful and delicious, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.